Time now for our SunGuard stage summary, and it was Martin who set the early best time. Armstrong finished his final Tour de France time trial in the field. Contador has been chasing down Andy Schleck, but there's been yo-yoing. Schleck has been in front, and at the moment we're looking at the arrival here of Levi Leipheimer. He was way down in the overall standings at the Czechs. He looks as though he may have improved a little bit here as he comes home. Leipheimer is in, and he's 1:06.55 is his time. So he's dropped in just into the long 30s there with that finish. And out on course, I can tell you that the battle between these two, they're virtually identical on the road at the moment. We are waiting for the second check between Alberto Contador and by Andy Schleck. And Denny Menchov is pushing out to almost a minute now ahead of Samuel Sanchez. There's going to be movement in the top 10 for sure now in this time trial, as the wind is having its effect, and perhaps also a little matter of 3,500 kilometers over the mountains of France, Belgium and Holland. And this man is just burying himself right now. Menchov has gone through 45.32 at the second check. 11th place for him, so in positions he's failing. But in time, I think he's absolutely crucifying now Samuel Sanchez.
Well, that's a done deal, I think. We're looking at almost a minute difference between those two riders in the overall standings. But now Contador is starting to tip the scales to his advantage. Andy Schleck went out extremely fast. I think he's now lost 2 seconds to Alberto Contador on the road, which means in the overall standings, he'd be looking at being behind him by 10 seconds. But Schleck will not give up. He will fight right the way down to the last hectometer of today's 52-kilometer stage.
Schleck switches across the road to get the shortest way around the corner in front of him here as he fights. This Tour de France remains a battle of seconds that could tip either way in the next 20 kilometers, and he knows that. He can hear his manager behind. Contador was starting the day just 3 minutes behind him. He's virtually still 3 minutes behind him as Samuel Sanchez is heading up towards the time check here. He's racing against the time of Menchov, 45.32. He's already more than a minute down, so he's off the podium now, Samuel Sanchez, and he's got to look over his shoulder because Van den Broek is chasing him down now. Samuel Sanchez racing up here now. He's lost his third place for sure. 46.53 as he goes through. Now he must be close. We're waiting for the... What's the time? Has Van den Broek got over him there?
Van den Broek is very close to going over him. You know, he's lost 1 minute and 20 seconds over Denny Menchov.
46.53 for Sanchez. He's more than a minute away now from the third place, which he started in today. Menchov is claiming the podium in Paris alongside who in yellow, as he heads up now towards the time clock, which will stop, and then they will start for the rider chasing, who started out of the house at 3 minutes. Schleck comes up 46.36. What's it going to be as a marker now? You listen to the crowds. We are witnessing some time trial in the Tour de France this year, that's for sure. This man will drive on as he comes up through the checkpoint now. Hejjedal was the last time through the other checkpoint. He's going okay there. He's in 45th place. Sanchez, the last time trial here, he's in 34th. There it is, 46.52 for Schleck. Now, what's Contador going to do?
We're going to have to wait for 3 minutes. These two riders separated on the road by 3 minutes, but Schleck does not look like a man who is weakening in this individual time trial this afternoon.
And we're just past the town sign now. The clock will count away. Schleck went through 46 minutes and 52 seconds. Contador needs to go through quicker than that by a few seconds. That will do to keep him in the lead. The manager must be really worried back in that car. These two men have really brought this Tour de France to Paris this year.
Well, they certainly have. The mechanic will be on the edge of his seat too, because if either of these riders has a mechanical incident at a moment like this, it could tip the scales and the outcome of the Tour de France. 46.52 is the time that Andy Schleck went through, and he's still, Alberto Contador hasn't yet stopped the clock.
It must be close now. 46.43, so the computer's wrong again here, Paul. 46.46 for Alberto Contador. 6 seconds to the good at the moment, so he leads the Tour at this point by 14 seconds. Well, 14 seconds now. That chain drop by Andy Schleck is looking a little bit expensive just now. It's been a long wait for Fabian Cancellara, but he's going to be the winner. 1 kilometre to go, and a wonderful crowd welcomes the white jersey for a 3rd year in a row. The only other man ever to win the white jersey in the Tour de France 3 times, Jan Ullrich. Next year, there's no white jersey for Andy Schleck. Age will have caught up with him. He'll have to go for yellow. But he's had a great time trial, win or lose. Schleck has been simply superb.
Well, he's really taken it to everyone this afternoon in the discipline which has never really been his. He's done what he can. He's tried to improve over the last couple of seasons, and today this must be the best time trial performance of his career.
Listen to the crowd as they bring him on home now. Schleck has left nothing to reserve for the finish. It's all out on the roads of Bordeaux today. He's going to be around about the same time of Sammy Sanchez, which was 1:06:47. Just a little bit slower in the end than Samuel Sanchez, and it's an awful long way home. But Andy Schleck now will finish 2nd in the Tour de France for the 2nd year in succession. He's in 1:07:10 and 43rd place.
There's only one man remaining now out on the course, but I tell you, the change in the climatic conditions could really have affected the chances of Andy Schleck. Once it got a little bit tougher, once that wind started to come up, the aerodynamic position of Alberto Contador started to play in his favor. He now knows what he's got to do. He's been in the saddle for an hour, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. He hasn't got very much time now to get himself to the finish, but he will feel confident now because he now knows that he's done the ride that was required of him, and he's now looking that little bit more fluid. I think the confidence has all of a sudden come back into the head of Alberto Contador.
17 seconds ahead of Andy Schleck at the 45.4 kilometre check in Becherville. And now we're racing for the 52 kilometre check, which is the finish line of the only time trial in this year's Tour de France. Not counting, of course, that short prologue in Rotterdam. It should be enough, but this Tour de France goes to Paris tomorrow. Still a matter of seconds between these two riders. It has been a superb race between them both. And Contador is going to go home from Paris tomorrow thinking, can I beat that guy next year, or will 1 year older make him just a little bit too strong? 1 kilometre to go.
It should take him at this speed around about 1 minute and 5 seconds, and that will bring him comfortably inside of 1 hour, 7 minutes and 10 seconds of Andy Schleck. And he realizes that he will have that information. He needs an hour 7:18 to keep the yellow, but what's more important, Phil, I think he's actually going to extend his overall lead in this competition at the end of the day. But I don't think at the start of this individual time trial he ever would have expected to be put so much under pressure by the young man from Luxembourg, Andy Schleck.
Look at the face of Contador. 1:06:53. It will mean he's maintained his 17 seconds advantage. He's gained and gained and gained. Contador has gone quicker and quicker over this last half of the race. When it's got really tough, he has been the stronger of the two. This is where Andy was cracking. No signs of that from Contador. He's continued to gain ever since the 2nd time check. And as he now comes home, he will know this will be it. This has won me the Tour de France. And his time on the line is 1 hour, 6 minutes and a final kick. And 33 seconds. Alberto Contador today wins the Tour de France because he knows now it's all just a little ride home to Paris. But he knew what a fight he had. That was an incredible battle, and well done Andy Schleck for making it such.
Well, that was an incredible ride by Andy Schleck, but you know, when you're a true champion, when you're looking at winning your 5th Grand Tour, you've got something special in the engine room, and that man today was bridge to engine room, more power, and the power was still there when it needed to be. When he felt that he was under pressure, he kept his calm, he kept his rhythm. What a look at this, Phil. You know, look at the top 10 in the stage this afternoon. There's nobody really who's managed to be from the top 10 in the overall standings. It's a strange result.
So there it is. Cancellara, the master of the time trial, triumphs again with an incredible ride. Tony Martin is 2nd, Bergkrabs is 3rd. Conor Valovas is in 4th place, and Dave Zabriskie in 5th there. Looking further down, these boys getting the best of a long day. Murenhout riding his last Tour de France. He retires now. Bradley Wiggins will be disappointed with 9th place, just ahead of Geraint Thomas, his teammate. These are the scenes at the finish. and the emotion is pouring out now. It all is proving a little bit too much. He has won his third Tour de France. That is for absolute certainty now as he heads home to Paris tomorrow. It all came down to the last time and won the prologue as well in Rotterdam. The Michelob Ultra overall standings. Alberto Contador, 39 seconds, they say, to the good over Andy Schleck. Dennis Menchov at 2 minutes and 1 second. Samuel Sanchez fades out now by 1:39 behind Menchov. Jurgen van den Broek holds on to his 5th place, 6:54. Gessing holds on to 6th, but Ryder Hejjedal climbs a notch. He's going to finish this Tour in 7th place as Joaquim Rodriguez falls to 8th. Kreuziger is 9th, and Horner stays on in there to finish the Tour tomorrow in 10th place. The day in prospect, as I say, it was Cancellara who launched off as a world champion, dressed in the colours of a world champion, the rainbow stripes on both his shorts and around his racing top. He settled in, he looked good, he was leading. He wasn't leading at the first time check, by the way. Tony Martin was 9 seconds to the good. Then it all turned round in the favour of Fabian Cancellara. Time on the line, 1 hour and 56 seconds. Then we saw Tony Martin have a go for HTC Columbia. He won a bronze medal in the World Championships last year in Mendrisio. He led at the first check. It was Cancellara who pushed him back at all of the next checks. He got the 2nd place finish, 17 seconds slower for Tony Martin, but he does confirm himself again as being a great time trial rider. For Lance Armstrong, a winner of 11 time trials throughout his career in the Tour de France. He's ridden this race 13 times. He wasn't to pierce the leaderboard on this occasion, but the crowd were there to see him say goodbye to the race, which he has won on 7 occasions. During that time too, he's won 22 stages and has been part of 3 team time trial wins as well. So he'll be home to Paris to wave farewell. We're waiting to work out whether they are still the leaders in the team race at the end of this day. Denny Menchov was the strong man of the stars of the Tour at the tail end of the start order. When he started, he was in 4th place in the race. When he finished, he was on the podium in Paris. He really did turn on the stylist man as he caught Jurgen van den Broek, who was lying in 5th place overall. He powered on. He was notching up big time here. Paris is his tomorrow. He'll be on the podium. He's won the Tours of Spain and Italy in the past. What can you say about Andy Schleck? He said he would give it his best shot. He would leave all his body on the road over 52 kilometres. He did just that. He suffered. And at one stage when he started, it looked as though he might be turning the tables on Alberto Contador. But as the race got further, the wind got stronger. It came across the course. Poor old Andy, even to that wheel slip there, I don't know what he did, but it may have been a gear change he made a mess of. But he lost time all the way to the finish. But when I say lost time, we were talking nothing. A few seconds here, a few seconds there, but it's cost him the Tour de France. And the man who went last, and that was the welcome, by the way, from his teammate Fabian Cancellara, who gave him a hug, thought he'd ridden a brilliant time trial, and he had. Alberto Contador knew throughout his ride exactly what Schleck was doing. That's the advantage of starting last in yellow. But he knew also that the race was in doubt all of the way to the finish. I've never seen Contador have to try like this in a time trial, because it was always a matter of seconds. At the first check, he was 2 seconds behind. Now he knew he was in big trouble. He suffered, just like Schleck, the 2 best men of the Tour de France, riding head-to-head all the way to the finish of the time trial outside of Bordeaux at Pauillac. But now he has won the Tour de France. He's edged out enough. He actually won the day by 14 seconds. Add on his 8 seconds, they might confirm it's 22 seconds. And if it is, that'll be the 2nd smallest winning margin in the history of the Tour de France. But they may round up those seconds. We're going to find out in a minute.